I imagine is quite large. I'm so focused on planning, I deal with a lot of planning stuff, so I don't know the maintenance side of it. There's a significant portion of your folks' resources that go to maintenance, is that right?
Yes, it sure is, and we have a budget for the entire island for maintenance of over 250 facilities of about $800,000. The administration and our council members worked with us last fiscal year to bring that up from about 450,000.
Wow.
Deanna really helped push this along to go from 450,000 to 800,000.
Wow.
That is for the entire island.
Wow.
Right, so what this equipment is gonna do is it's gonna help us maintain our fields, maintain our play areas, maintain everything. Because even as we're working through all this other stuff, there are things that we're doing that people may not see, like we're replacing fountains, water fountains with ADA accessible water fountains. Those little small things like that. We're fixing cracks in sidewalk.
Sure.
We're putting up fences. We got big pig problems. I know that not everybody agrees with my proposals.
Sure.
But I was hired to do that, to make sure our parks are taken care of.
Yes.
To make sure that my staff, we have about 500 staff in Parks and Rec, to make sure that, and we have 170 people in our maintenance division alone, to make sure that they have equipment that they can work with, that's not gonna break. So for instance, when we talk about that 5-gang mower at Hale Muni, all those parts gotta come from England to replace the one that we currently have.
Okay.
We want something that we can get parts from either the mainland or here, because it's just becoming unfeasible what
Sure.
we're doing.
Makes sense. And you can't, grass is growing, right? Things are moving, tree, everything's constant. You're dealing with a world that's constantly happening, right? Just because you don't have a part doesn't mean you can say time out, tree stop from falling, or grass stop growing. You guys have to be responsive to all of this.
Yeah, and we have to make sure that, we control the fire ants. We gotta make sure that we're constantly trimming our coconut trees so that nobody gets hurt by those. We're constantly trimming all of our ornamentals to make sure that dead limbs are taken care of. We just spent actually about a month at Pohoa District Park. There's an area over there to where, like, when all the water comes down, there's this almost like a big pond that was created for that. And so we spent about a month already excavating that out so it could drain again. To do that, what did? We had to rent an excavator.
Yep.
So that's one of the other things that we can take care of. When we get these fields back, once we do all this at Pohoa District Park, once we get all the fields back, we gotta maintain these fields.
Correct.
When we start doing the other phases of this park. Because remember, when this park was created, we got 0 equipment to maintain it. We got 0 personnel to run it. We had to take from all of our other resources to maintain this facility. And so when the other phases come, again, we're probably not gonna get any more equipment to maintain those. Probably not gonna get any more personnel. So we've gotta make do with what we can. Having this FEMA money available for our parks it's a godsend for us.
I can see that. You also have a Hawaiian Paradise Park coming up at some point in time as well, right? Which will need to be maintained, which will be another park in the Puna nexus.
Yep.
So I think what we're seeing, a lot of park action and obviously the need for the maintenance. I think it's, as you said, not everybody agrees with everything that's going on. And that's part of the process. But I do feel that being transparent and leaning into it and really trying to work towards just having that open dialogue is critical. So I appreciate that, that's what we're doing. We're opening that up. You're saying, here's what it is, here's what we're working through, here's the challenges. I'm hoping that people will be able to see that. While they may not agree with it all, at least there's honesty, openness, and being transparent. I think that's really important.
That transparency, it really is big for me, and obviously it's big for the mayor,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And all of the cabinet members. And it would have been a lot easier, obviously, to say, yeah, trust us. We're going to spend $4.9 million the way that you want it, right?
Sure.
It was not easy for me to say, I need equipment at Hale Muni.
I bet.
It was not easy for me to say, I don't see a way to put $5 million in the small footprint that we have available.
Sure.
Right? But what do? We say, this is our plans, this is our justification, and with the way you guys are handling it with Councilmember Kirkowitz, and making sure the community is understanding, or at least not necessarily understanding, but is informed of everything that we want to do. And we don't hide anything from anyone. We don't want it to be to where it's like a couple of years from now when an audit comes through, and now it's a public knowledge of how all the money was spent. We want everybody to know what our thoughts are and my thought process behind it. And our thought processes in our maintenance division is, how do we maintain these facilities at the highest standards for all the people?
Yep, makes sense, makes a lot of sense. Mo, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. I'm glad that we could have this conversation. I'm hoping this will bring, more insight, more knowledge to our community as we go through this process. I'm looking forward to sitting down with you again, probably beginning of the year after the envisioning process has happened to Pohiki. We can talk about how that's looking, what's transpiring, and maybe we'll do this again for a different conversation. It's been really great having you.
Sounds good, man. I'm glad you guys are doing this.